The wait is over. It's been 21 long years since Scotland qualified for a major football tournament, but that wait is now at an end. The Scotland team is ready to give it their all for the nation in the 2019 Women's World Cup. Follow Shelley Kerr's team throughout the competition on Rock Sport Radio. Get the latest from the Scotland camp and keep up to date with team news and results. Coverage of the 2019 Women's World Cup from France on Rock Sport Radio in partnership with Scottish Building Society, proud sponsors of Scottish Women's Premier League.
We've reached Group D as we preview all 24 teams taking part in the Women's World Cup. The favourites to finish top of a difficult group are England. They managed a third place finish in the last World Cup in Canada and they're looking for the trophy this time around. They reached the Euro 2017 semi-finals and won the She Believes Cup for the first time earlier this year. That tournament saw them beat fellow Group D side Japan 3-0. England have proven themselves to be a very strong side. There's a longer history of women's football in England than in most other countries in the tournament. The Women's Football Association was set up in 1969, but club history goes back further, such as the Dick Kerr ladies team, which was formed in 1917. Today's side are led by Phil Neville. It's his first full managerial position after a caretaker spell at Salford City and a year as Valencia assistant, but he seems to be getting a tune out of the team. Leon right-back Lucy Bronze is a key figure for the Lionesses. She won the domestic double this season, as well as the Champions League. She's an established member of the squad with 66 caps under her belt over 6 years. Barcelona striker Toni Duggan is another player to keep an eye on. She's scored 22 goals in over 70 international appearances. It's easy to see England doing quite well this year. They've already shown that they can beat Japan relatively easily, and they'll face an Argentina side that have been thrown together at the last minute. Their toughest opponents could well be Scotland. It's an interesting group, but we can assume that England will probably progress from it.
Coverage of the 2019 Women's World Cup from France on Rock Sport Radio in partnership with Scottish Building Society.
Back to Group D as we continue our Women's World Cup profiles. We're going to have a look at Argentina now, who have one of the more interesting stories in the competition. They're not quite as strong a side as their male counterparts and could be affected by a long period without competing. Critical underfunding caused the women's national side to be disbanded in 2015 and they didn't play again until last year's Copa America. They fell short in the World Cup qualifiers but earned a place after beating Panama in the CONCACAF CONMEBOL playoff. They've not been overly successful historically, and their only tournament win was in the 2006 Sudamericano Femenino. The head coach from that period was Carlos Borrello, who also took them to 2 World Cups. Borrello was brought back last year to try and rebuild the team. Captain Estefania Banini is Argentina's star player. She's had a few spells with Washington Spirit, leaving the US twice to play with Valencia and Levante. Milagros Menendez is an up-and-comer worth keeping an eye on too. The striker's only been capped a few times but has had some convincing performances so far. From the outset, it doesn't look great for Argentina. They have some good players but they're still quite fragmented as a squad and that'll probably cost them.
Coverage of the 2019 Women's World Cup from France on Rock Sport Radio in partnership with Scottish Building Society.
Another look at Group D as we continue our World Cup preview profiles, and we've reached the team you've been waiting for. Scotland are appearing in their first World Cup after finishing top of their qualifying group, finishing ahead of strong Swiss and Polish sides. Their first major tournament appearance was at Euro 2017, but they didn't make it out of the group stage. Scotland could manage a much better finish this time around. They have a strong group of players and right now they have the wind in their sails. The feel-good factor has been surrounding the team since they qualified in September and they're unbeaten in their last 5 games. That includes a 1-0 win over Brazil. Head coach Shelley Kerr has played a key role in shaping the squad. She's a former internationalist herself and took over just before Euro 2017. Arsenal midfielder Kim Little is Scotland's key player. She's managed 53 goals in over 130 appearances for the national side and won 4 league titles and 8 cups with the Gunners. Chelsea Women's Player of the Year Erin Cuthbert's also likely to make a splash in this competition. Kerr has said that her target is to progress from the group stage, which is easier said than done. They've got some tough opposition in England and Japan, and while Argentina aren't in the best shape right now, they still have some excellent players. That said, Scotland have a good side themselves, and they definitely have a chance.
Coverage of the 2019 Women's World Cup from France on Rock Sport Radio in partnership with Scottish Building Society.
Our Women's World Cup profile previews continue with a look at the final Group D side, Japan. They've got a strong record in the competition, especially over the last 2 years. They reached the final in 2015 and they won it in 2011. They're not the team they were, though. They're missing a number of key players, including Shinobu Ono and Aya Miyama, who both ended their 13-year international careers in 2016, and Homari Sawa, who retired in 2015 after 22 years playing for her country. That said, they're definitely still a strong team. They won the Asian Cup and the Asian Games last year, led by former international Asako Takakura, who's been Japan's head coach since 2016. Keep an eye on Emi Nakajima. The Kobe Leonessa midfielder was named FIFA Women's World Player of the Year in 2011 and is lethal from dead ball situations. Stalwart Mizuho Sakaguchi is a key player and has made over 120 appearances for the national side. It could go either way with Japan. They have a good record but don't tend to perform particularly well against teams in the FIFA top 10. It's also worth noting that since Takakura took over, they've never came back to win a game after their opponent has taken the lead. England are their strongest opponents in this group, but Scotland could be a challenge for them too. Progression to the next round? Certainly not impossible.
The wait is over. It's been 21 long years since Scotland qualified for a major football tournament, but that wait is now at an end. The Scotland team is ready to give it their all for the nation in the 2019 Women's World Cup. Follow Shelley Kerr's team throughout the competition on Rock Sport Radio. Get the latest from the Scotland camp and keep up to date with team news and results. Coverage of the 2019 Women's World Cup from France on Rock Sport Radio in partnership with Scottish Building Society, proud sponsors of Scottish Women's Premier League.